How do you know anything? How can you objectively tell if you're not delusional or crazy?
Easy. I rely on my ability to consistently navigate the world successfully using my 5 senses, plus the established knowledge I have about how the world works. For example, I know that if my senses were not working, I would probably get hit by cars I did not see. I would be dead. Our senses exist to help us navigate the world. If they could not do that, what good would they be?
But that isn't really objective now, is it? Your senses could be lying to you, or you could be deceived. How can you really be objective about determining what is real and what isn't?
Well, I also rely on the support of my peers. Yourself, for example. Aren't we both experiencing this bar? Don't we validate each other's senses? The wine, the guys playing pool, our bartender, the people on the road, we all share and experience the same universe, and our interactions with each other are consistent, if not spoken, validations of the way that the world works. If I were delusional, if we were all delusional, we would lack that consistency, and all experience different imaginary things, and we would probably be dead.
But how objective is that really? You're still relying on your senses to validate the validation of your peers. Isn't that irrational? Isn't that circular?
Is it? Clearly our world operates on consistent rules. You look both ways before crossing the street. You'll pay for your wine when we leave. You'll behave as if this is all real. It's the dream riddle. Are you a woman getting steadily more drunk in a bar with a sexy intelligent man, or are you a butterfly just dreaming the whole thing, and none of it is real?
Exactly. I have no way to know if you're really here. Couldn't my own deluded senses be just giving me false information? How can I objectively tell the difference?
Well, that is an enjoyable thought experiment, but, like the brain in the vat argument, or the matrix if you prefer, it is one with no answer, because you only have your senses. You can't leap out of them to observe any other world or set of experiences. We all generally agree and validate that this is real. If anyone doubts it, they're free to walk off a tall building to demonstrate gravity is a delusion, or into the street to demonstrate that cars are a delusion, or to not pay their bar tab to prove that isn't real either. But all of those will have observable consequences that each of us can also validate, and few would care to test the notion. If we are going to doubt our senses, then there should be a good reason. Remember how I said I had a history with this world and recognizing how it works? If something breaks those known rules, either my senses are deceived, or someone is trying to deceive me, or there are rules of the universe I do not yet know. This is where we get into objective investigation of positive claims.
But all of that requires your senses, which can be deceived.
Yes, they can be, but they are the only tools we have. Even the staunchest critic of the senses will buckle his seat belt, look both ways before crossing the street, pay bills, etc.
Then isn't reliance on senses nothing more than blind faith? And therefore, not really objective?
No, because you know that if you break your glass and stab the bartender, you will have very negative follow-up sensory experiences. On the other hand, if you kiss me, come home with me tonight, you could have some very positive sensory experiences. You navigate the world based on these potential sensory experiences. You rely upon them being predictable, and it is that predictive value that eliminates the idea that it is blind faith in the reality of our senses. Predictive value is what leads to scientific breakthroughs, and offers support to the consistency of our shared experience and shared validation. When we touch, we share validation of intimacy. When entangled, we validate each other's warmth. When our minds release pleasurable endorphins and we meet each other's gaze and connect, we validate that we are alive. We have no other way but our senses and the sharing of those senses to support our experience in the world. Could it be a dream? Yes. But it is a dream with thrills and experiences and sensory consequences we can navigate well, as long as we have predictive value and common experiences. So if it is a dream, it is so real that wondering if it is false is a futile exercise that keeps us back from enjoyment.
You make a good argument. It's a fun exercise, but if it is a dream, then let's live it. Let's pay the bill and go back to your place and validate your claim of predictive value for a shared pleasurable experience. This has been another episode of Reasonable Doubt, put on by the Church of the Basement Dragon. Thank you for watching, and thank you for thinking.